It's 8:15. I'm Jim Monahan. On CKOV Sports, Guy Lafleur is looking good with the Broadway blue shirts. Leo the Lip is gone from the Argonauts. And on the hardwood, the Charlotte Who beat the Miami Who. CKOV Sports is brought to you by R.J. McMaster's Pub at Springfield and Ben Volen. For any good time gathering, R.J. McMaster's is the place to be 7 days a week. Help, help, we're becoming Vancouver Canuck fans. The Canucks rolled into Calgary last night, tied the Mighty Flames 3-3. They're unbeaten in 6 games, are an even 500 after 27 games, and stand 8th overall in the standings. Can it be true? Yes. Steve Weeks provided excellent goaltending against the Flames, turning aside 41 of 44 shots directed his way. Canucks could only muster 21 shots on the Flames' goal, but turned on the red light 3 times. Tony Tandy, Robert Nordmark, and Kevin Guy, the Gunners. The Flames needed a power play goal by Doug Gilmour midway through the third period to tie it up. Joe Nieuwendyk scoring the other 2 goals. The amazing Canucks will be on the tube tonight at 6:30 from Edmonton. They'll wind up their mini tour of the Smythe Division in Winnipeg on Friday night. Mike Bullard scored a goal in his first game with Philadelphia as the Flyers beat Boston 5-1 to snap a 4-game losing streak. Bullard was acquired from St. Louis earlier in the day in a straight-up swap for forward Peter Zezel. Rick Tocchet added 2 goals for the Flyers, and Bullard says that the goals have been hard to come by.
They've been labeling me as a scorer, and to tell you the truth, the goals haven't been coming that easy this year. 5 goals right now in 21 games is a joke to me, and you know, I'm a little behind schedule, but hopefully with the new team and with all the good players around me that, you know, it's going to help me out and really get me on a groove.
And 5 other games, Wayne Gretzky, Dave Taylor, and Mike Allison each scored 2 goals as Los Angeles pounded New Jersey 9-3. The Kings are just 4 points behind front-running Calgary in the overall standings. Steve Yzerman's 2 goals and 2 assists helped Detroit pass the Islanders 5-3. Chicago Blackhawks lost their 5th straight 5-2 to Minnesota. Mark Habscheid with the pair for the North Stars. Rookie John Drews scored the game winner for Washington at a 4-3 triumph over St. Louis. The Caps have won 8 of their last 9 games. And Guy Lafleur scored twice as the New York Rangers did the Canucks a favor, beating Winnipeg 4-3. Lafleur says that he's just finding his stride with the Rangers.
I play more often. That's the big difference. You know, the more you play, the better you get. It's not only me, it's everybody on the team. That's the biggest difference the last 2 games, I think.
And right now, the hottest ticket in hockey is in Montreal, where Guy Lafleur will make his return to the Forum December 17th. The game is already sold out, and scalpers are already getting upwards of $500 for a pair of seats. Rangers coach Michel Bergeron was certainly pleased with Lafleur's work last night in Winnipeg.
Guy, to me, right now, he's like a rookie. Every game, before every game, he's ready to go. But don't forget, he is a Hall of Famer. And a Hall of Famers, these guys are always proud, and he showed a lot again tonight.
Well, just one game in the BC Junior Hockey League. Tom Arkell scored 4 goals to pace the Nanaimo Clippers to a 9-3 triumph over the Chilliwack Eagles. The win pulling Nanaimo into a 4th-place tie with Chilliwack out the coast. 3 games on tap tonight. Chilliwack is at New Westminster, Cowichan Valley at Richmond, and the Merritt Centennials visit Vernon. Kelowna Packers will play in Salmon Arm tomorrow night, then entertain Merritt Friday night here at the Memorial. Western Hockey League, Portland Winterhawks bombed Saskatoon 12-3. Mark Greyeyes with a couple of goals for Portland. West Side Rec Hockey, the Budweiser Red Wings outscored Molson's Canadians 13-8. Dwayne Holder with 5 goals and Mike Halushko with 3 more for the Wings. Harold Hatmerl with 4 goals for the Habs. Hard to tell if you're reading the Financial Post or the sports pages these days. Carling O'Keefe Breweries has decided to concentrate on making beer and sold off their 2 pro sports franchises. Quebec Nordique going to Marcel Abou and a group of Quebec businessmen. Toronto Argonauts taken over by former St. Louis Blues owner Harry Ornest. The big story there, Bob Obilovich taking over the GM position with the Argos along with his coaching duties. And Leo Cahill getting the axe. Leo was not happy, and he plans a news conference next week of his own to tell his side of the story. Can't wait, huh? Leo tells all. Oh, no. The NBA, it was a battle of the new kids on the block, and the Charlotte Hornets rung up a 99-84 victory over the Miami Heat. The Hornets have actually won 3 times on the season. The Heat have definitely been cool. They're winless in 11 tries. Boston Celtics are back at 500 after a 100-93 win over New Jersey, and the Supersonics beat Utah 109-102. Karen Percy of Banff was the top Canadian in training today for Friday's World Cup downhill at Val d'Isère, France. Percy finished 10th in her opening training run and 7th in her second run. Michelle Figini of Switzerland won the first run. Carol Merle of France took the second go-round. It's 8:20. I'm Jim Monahan, CKOV Sports, and Neil McRae has an interesting idea for a trade in the NHL.
It's not often that you can sit back and get your kicks watching the Flyers and Islanders flop, fall, and blunder. Right now, they're the 98-pound weaklings getting sand kicked in their face. The Flyers have 5 points from their last dozen games. The Islanders have lost 5 in a row. And on the road, they have 1 tie in their last 8. Many are saying that as unhappy as most Flyers were with Mike Keenan, they still won in spite of those feelings, that they need his discipline, his approach to the game. Clearly, the number one problem with the Flyers is the terrible goaltending they've received from Ron Hextall. He's playing like he's lost the edge. He's not intimidating anyone. It's easy to park in front of him and not be shin-hacked to death. Keenan isn't exactly turning on the Blackhawks, which leads to speculation that the power play between Denis Savard and Keenan will be won by Keenan and Savard will be traded. Savard isn't happy in Chicago. He's tired of losing, tired of making great plays and not having the wingers to put it home. Don't be surprised if the Blackhawks and Flyers make a deal that would see Dave Poulin and Hextall go to Chicago, with Savard and goalie Jimmy Waite winding up in Philly. Keenan believes that Hextall still has it and that he is the man to return Hextall to his former self. In Poulin, Keenan would have around him his biggest supporter from Philly. Chicago can justify the trade by saying they've never won with Savard, that his best days are behind him, and besides they have to do something to get going. What it boils down to is, do both teams have the guts to make it? That is Speaking of Sport.
Neil McRae and Speaking of Sport is brought to you by Angie's Pub and the Capri Hotel, where sports and good times team up 7 days a week.